invite you honorable members to do the introductions. We're starting with Honorable Simumba.
Thank you very much, Chair. Kanshubia Town Council, you are most welcome, and a Happy New Year to you. I'm Simumba Lucas, Honorable Member of Parliament for Nakonde, and also a member of this committee. You are most welcome.
Afternoon, Chair. Kanshubia, welcome. Mishek Mtetwa Nyambose, Chasefu Member of Parliament.
Chair, good afternoon. Afternoon, honorable colleagues. Good afternoon, permanent witnesses. Welcome, Kanchibia Council. My name is Christopher Shakafuso, Member of Parliament for Mandev. Mandev is where you are here. I'm a member of the committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Afternoon, permanent witness. And afternoon, Kanchibia. This is Honorable Mwene Luhamba, Member of Parliament for Mangango constituency in the Western Province, Kaoma. Thank you. And I'm a member of this committee.
Chair, thank you. Good afternoon to witness. You are most welcome and a Happy New Year. Mutelo Mishek, MP for the good people of Mitete, your humble servant.
Thank you, Honorable Kamondo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Good afternoon, Kanchibia Council. My name is Elliot Kamondo, who is privileged to serve the good people of Mufumbwe and a member of this committee.
Thank you very much. Kanchibia, you are welcome once more this wonderful afternoon to your committee on local government accounts. My name is Amulunda Darius. I'm a member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency and the chairperson for this wonderful committee, the Committee on Local Government Accounts. Kanchibia, when you appear before any parliamentary committee, you are conferred with the immunity under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, that whatever you say during our deliberations cannot be used against you in any courts of law. However, if you choose to mislead or misinform, misguide this committee, the same Cap 12 will work against you. But I have no doubt in my mind that you wouldn't take us that route and that you're going to give us factual information, useful information that you're going to use to generate a very good report to the main house to submit to Madam Honorable Speaker. With that guidance, I will now invite you, Council Secretary, to make your submission to this committee with further guidance that when you make your submissions, you are just going to read the query and then you go to the management response, management action taken, and the management is remedy, the remedies that you wish to offer. So in this case, they will have query number A, where we have specific audit findings. Number 1, awarding of contracts to ineligible bidders. So once you read that, then you come to management or the cause of query. In that fashion, we can proceed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair, for that guidance. I now present my report. The first query is awarding of contracts to ineligible bidders. And the cause of query is that 10 out of 15 contracts were awarded to ineligible bidders. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the local contractors that were part of the bidders for the 15 contracts failed to meet preliminary requirements as stipulated in the Zambia Public Procurement Act. The local contractors within the province lacked Engineering Institute of Zambia certificate. They did not attend site visit, lacked workers' compensation certificate, and therefore were not compliant with Section 89 of the Public Procurement Act of 2020. This resulted into awarding of the 10 contracts out of the 15 to contractors that were outside the province. Engagement of local contractors specifically domiciled within Kanchibiya and Mchinga province has been embarked on in order to build capacity. In the year 2023, Chair, a large number of contractors have since been awarded various contracts as compared to the year 2022 under the Constituent Development Fund owing to the capacity building and engagements. Attached are the minutes of the Procurement Committee, that is Appendix 1A, Technical Evaluation Reports, Appendix 1B, contracts awarded under 2023 Constituent Development Fund, Appendix 2, and a copy of the Section 89 of the Procurement Act of 2020, which is Appendix 3, to show why the local contractors were eliminated from the bidders. The remedial measure, management to ensure that local contractors that meet the legal requirements as stipulated in the CDF guidelines are given preference. Number 2, delayed construction of Civic Center.
So just be aware, Council Secretary, that this meeting is being televised. We are live both on radio and TV. Just to give you that insight.
Thank you, Chair, for that
Please
guidance.
consider.
The cause of queries, the construction of the Civic Center was delayed. Action taken. Management wrote warning letters to the contractors to caution him on non-adherence to the terms of the contract. Diamond Palace Limited, the contractor for the Civic Center, signed the contract on 13th January 2023 and possessed site on 16th January 2023. The contractor delayed in the implementation of the project after foundation excavations, citing challenges of accessing and transporting construction material such as river sand, building sand, and crushed stones to the site due to impassable roads during the rainy season. A warning was given to the contractor in March 2023. The contractor applied for extension of time to resume works on site in the month of May 2023, which was approved by management. The revised contract period was now 3 months to the end of August 2023. After the expiry of the extension, the contractor delayed to come on site, so warning letters were given to the contractor to caution him on the non-adherence to the terms of the contract with regards to the timelines. Management took a step further to summon the contractor for a site meeting on 28th August 2023 to establish the way forward. The contractor became active by mobilizing construction materials on site and resumed works, which has now reached the ring beam stage. The status of the contract is that it's awaiting procurement committee sitting to terminate. A warning letter Appendix 4, invitation to site meeting Appendix 5, and management minute Appendix 6 are available for your reference. Remedial measure. Management to ensure that terms of contract with regards to the timeline are adhered to and undertake due diligence on the contractors before contracts are awarded. Chair, query number 3 is delayed construction of Kanchibiya Community Radio. The cause of the query is construction of the radio station was delayed. Action taken. Management wrote warning letters to the contractor to caution him on non-adherence to the term of the contract. The contractor cited challenges of accessing, transporting construction materials such as river sand, building sand, and crushed stones to the site due to impassable roads during the rain season. The contractor applied for extension of time to resume works on site in the month of May 2023, which was approved by management. The revised contract period was now 3 months to the end of July 2023. The Council took a step further to summon the contractor for a site meeting on 28th August 2023 to establish the way forward. The contractor became active by mobilizing construction material on site and resumed works, which are now at 80%. He has completed the plastering and is remaining with painting and iron moggering. The warning letter Appendix 7, invitation to the site Appendix 8, and minutes of management meeting are available for your reference. Chair. The remedial measures, management to ensure the terms of contract with regards to the timeline are adhered to and undertake due diligence on the contractors before contracts are awarded. Chair, query number 4 is waste of expenditure on empowerment project, and the cause of the query is lack of evidence of beans produced nor sale proceeds. Action taken. Management acknowledges the observation made by the auditors and wishes to report that the sugar beans project was a 2021 CDF project whose yield was lower than expected due to reasons such as poor rainfall distribution pattern during a drought during the growing period. Copy of the monitoring report from Ministry of Agriculture is available for reference. Chair, the local authority through the Ministry of Agriculture recommended that the harvested beans during the 2021-2022 farming season should be plowed back into the soil for the 2022-2023 farming season. A total number of 104 cooperatives managed to plow back the beans and harvested 685 by 50 bags. The objective of the legume dissemination had been achieved as grain has been disseminated in the district to households. The report from the Ministry of Agriculture is available for your reference, which is Appendix 10. Remedial measure. Management will ensure that cooperatives benefiting from such empowerments will be adequately trained and monitored at each stage of the process in partnership with the District Agriculture Coordinating Officer. Chair, the next query is irregular use of empowerment fund. Cause of query, irregular use of empowerment fund. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the cooperatives in question ventured into village banking but did not keep records of their activities, hence were unable to show proof of their undertakings during the audit. Letters were written to all 4 cooperatives to have the monies refunded and paid back to the cooperative account. The council went a step further and reported the 4 cooperatives to Zambia police after noticing that there were no steps taken by the cooperatives towards refunding the 130,000. Letters written to the cooperatives is Appendix 11, as well as correspondence to Zambia Police, which is Appendix 12, which are available for reference, Chair. Remedial measures. Our management will ensure that cooperatives benefiting from such empowerment grants are not paid cash in hand, but assisted with the procurement of all required items for the implementation of their approved projects. Under the 2023 CDF, the local authority has procured farming inputs for all successive applicants through the Ministry of Agriculture with approval from the Ministry in order to avoid irregular use of funds. Chair, the other query is lack of documentation such as receipts or deposit slip to account for utilization of funds. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the cooperatives were unable to provide receipts at the time of the audit because the documents were kept in a disorderly manner by the cooperatives were engaged and requested to submit receipts as proof of utilization of funds. The receipts were provided to the local authority and are available for reference, which is Appendix 13. Remedial measures. Management to ensure that the cooperatives continue to undergo financial literacy and also encourage cooperatives to enroll in literacy classes in order to reduce illiteracy levels in the district. Chair, the next query is misapplication of funds for unauthorized activities. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the 2021 cooperatives were engaged and re-sensitized on the correct procedure of changing projects. The 21 cooperatives provided minutes to show that the cooperatives convened and resolved to change the projects. The minutes were sent as an item to the CDFC committee for ratification and sent for approval to the Provincial Constituents Development Fund. Copy of the minutes of the cooperative sitting is Appendix 14. Copy of the minutes for the CDFC is Appendix 15, as well as the approval letter, which is Appendix 16, which are available for your reference, Chair. Remedial measures. Management to ensure that the cooperatives do not change projects without due authority by continuing to carry out sensitization to disseminate this information. Management to also carry out regular monitoring to ensure that the actual projects approved are the ones implemented. Under cross-cutting issues, budget performance, cause of query, failure to spend. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the balance unspent of 16 million 927,790 has since been spent in 2023 as indicated in Appendix 17. Remedial measure, management will strictly adhere to the CDF guidelines timelines. The next query, Chair, is failure to spend. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the 8,285,828 was unspent as at 31st December 2022 because of the following. Approval for community projects was received on 7th July 2022. Procurement process and clearance by Attorney General was completed on 6th January 2023. The contracts were signed on 13th January 2023, commenced implementation on 16th January 2023. Attached is a table, Appendix 18, to show the dates of the procurement process, which led to the funds being unspent as at 31st December 2022. The funds have since been spent in 2023. Remedial measure, management to strictly adhere to the CDF guideline timelines. The next query, Chair, is our development committee members did not prepare and submit monitoring reports. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the Ward Development Committee members did not prepare and submit reports because of transport challenges to monitor the projects. Procurement of bicycles for all Ward Development Committee members was among the approved 2023 community projects under the Constituency Development Fund. The bicycles have since been procured and distributed to all WDC members to ease their transportation problems for monitoring projects in their respective wards. The distribution list, which is Appendix 19 for the bicycles, as well as the invoice Appendix 20 for procurement of bicycles, are available for your reference. Remedial measure. Management has continued sensitization to remind the Ward Development Committee members on their responsibility to carry out monitoring and produce reports. Provision has been made in the 2024 budget to supplement Ward Development Committee members with stationery. The next query, Chair, is the Council failed to disburse loans as at 31st December 2022. Action taken. The loans have been disbursed to all beneficiaries as approved. Management wishes to report that guidance on the engagement of financial institutions for disbursement of loans was only received on the 1st of November 2022 under circular number MF/LG/1/20, and the financial institutions took more than the stipulated 21 days to assess and appraise the applications. The circular, Appendix 21, and correspondence from the bank on the disbursement of loans, which is Appendix 22, is available for your reference, Chair. Remedial measure, management to ensure that loans are disbursed in accordance with the CDF guidelines. The report is submitted for your consideration, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, Honorable Shagafuso, Honorable Nyambos, and Honorable Smumba.
Chair, page 2, awarding of contracts to ineligible bidders, where contrary to the guideline, a review of contract documents revealed that the Council awarded 10 out of 15 contracts with contract sums amounting totaling 5,290,000 for implementation to various contractors that were not from Muchinga province, thereby disadvantaging the local contractors in the province. Would you put it on record that Muchinga province does not have qualified contractors? And when you noticed in your action taken report that some of the bidders who were domiciled in the province lacked Engineering Institute of Zambia certificate and workman's compensation, have you brought the evidence of the profiles of the local bidders that participated to show indeed that they lacked these documents? I submit, Chair.
Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, I'll start from page 10. My question is on page 10, CS. Irregular use of empowerment funds. Chair, the council disbursed 130,000 kwacha to 4 groups for activities like village banking, chicken rearing, and farming. However, a physical inspection revealed that group members irregularly shared the funds for personal use, deviating from the intended purpose. My question to the council secretary and the team: at which point did you discover that the cooperative members had ventured into activities that were not approved? Is it after audit, or you have been going around to inspect? The second one, why? Because the action taken report says management wishes to report that the cooperatives in question ventured into village banking but did not keep a record of their activities, hence were unable to show proof of their undertakings. What action did you take after realizing this?
Okay.
Was it just an issue of record keeping, or there was criminal or intention? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Smumba.
Thank you very much, Chair. On page 11, I think it's a continuation from Honorable Nyambose. In addition, 466 130 could not be accounted for, as documents such as receipts, bank deposits were not traced. And the Chair, I've taken keen interest because there is an action taken, and the action is leading us to Appendix 13. I would want us to go to that Appendix 13 that the Council are reading us.
And this 13, where is it?
Are we there? Chair, Appendix 13. This cash sale invoice, when you look at the figures, you can check that the receiver never signed. Now, my word, when you add all these invoices, Chair, it is just coming to 78,930. But here, the amount which was not accounted for was 466,130. I would want to find out where are the other receipts that would tally to make sure that the total should be 466. Chair, I submit.
Thank you very much. The Council Secretary, react to those questions.
Thank you, Honorables, for your questions. I'll start with the question from Honorable Shekafuswa. What the local authority did after realizing that Mchinga did not have qualified contractors. I want to put it on record, Honorable, that as a council, we have a database of contractors that are not only domiciled in Mchinga, but domiciled in the whole country. So when we were doing the procurement, we sent inquiries to all the bidders that were on our database. And those that responded, this report is referring to only those bidders that responded. And it's among those bidders that we found that the locals did not do very well, and we have an evaluation report here which shows the local bidders and at which point they failed the bidding process, the procurement process. Thank you.
How many registered bidders in total from Chinga province do you have on your database? And how many participated? How many did you invite against those who are registered on your database?
Okay, I'll invite my procurement officer.
Okay, before you, procurement officer, responds an addition.
Thank you. Just on the same, you are saying after, that's how the question came. But before, what did you do? Didn't you advertise to show the requisites that would be wanted for the local contractors? Or maybe you had to hide this information so that you just knock out those you did not want, because there are 5, as you are answering to Honorable Shakafososi.
Okay, so thank you, Honorable. I will answer.
You have a database.
Yes.
Chair, they have, and they know the local contractors in first in Kachivia, according to their database, and in Muchinga, later on the entire country. They have a very good database. Didn't they mind to first even interact, sensitize the local bidders first in Kanchivia and Muchinga, bearing in mind that at least they were given to say the preference must be local bidders, local contractors.
Allow your colleague to respond. Procurement.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorables. At the time when we sent the request for quotations to the contractors who are within our database, we anticipated that the locals would do well based on the criteria that was given. Unfortunately, we learned that our local contractors did not meet the requirements under the preliminary stage in terms of documentation. Thank you, Chair.
On the same, I'm getting a bit confused, because why were you sending the request to the companies that you have in the database than just advertising? Because when you say in Muchinga you don't have contractors, did you reach out in Akonde? Did you reach out Mafinga or Isoka to find out that these companies, they don't have papers, and you decided to go for the companies that are outside Muchinga? Why? Thank you, Chair.
Town Secretary.
Chair, I want to state that it was a serious oversight on our part that we didn't look at the actual papers that our local contractors had before sending out this inquiry, and we sincerely apologize, and we have engaged these local contractors so that we build their capacity. And when you look at our record in 2023, you'll find that the number of local contractors has actually improved because of the engagements that we have been having with them.
Thank you.
How many, at the time they were advertising, how many contractors within Muchinga did they have on their database? And how many did they invite to take part in the
Secretary, based on your database, how many were they? Procurement, do you have the figure?
Thank you, Chair. In our database, at that time, we had about 160.
Sir, when you're giving a number for contractors, it should not be about. Do you have the figure?
No, sorry, Chair. I apologize on that one.
You don't have?
No.
Yeah, it's better to tell us. No, I don't have it off cuff here, but we can provide. Yes, sir. Yes, Honorable.
A follow-up on the same, I think, from what the three members of parliament has indicated. Local, in terms of policy direction by the president, means the local people of Kanchibia. If you can't get from Kanchibia, the surrounding or within the same province, you couldn't find contractors that could qualify for that within Muchinga. You opted to go outside. You have been hearing the president or government indicating that and has given the rationale behind that. Question is, why did you go to another province before giving an opportunity to the locals? The locals means Kanchibia and the other within the province. That is the question. And how many do you have within the province that they can fail to qualify to do this project?
Chair, thank you very much, Honorable. Chair, we don't have the number of the CAF for the total number of contractors that we have within the province, but what we would like to say is that it was a serious oversight on our part, and going forward, we have ensured that the local contractors, starting the ones based in Mchinga, based in Kanchibia, we are trying to build their capacity by engaging them in meetings. We have an NGO, which is Local Impact, under USAID, that is helping us to organize meetings with these people and with ZPPA, and just to bring them up to speed with what is needed for them to participate. As we may well know, that Kanchibia is a new district, and at the time that this CDF was increased and there was a lot of influx for contracts, the locals were a bit disadvantaged. But Honorable, I want to assure you that going forward, we have worked on this and we'll do better next time. As you can see, even in the 2023 one, we have almost everything given to the local contractors within Mchinga.
Honorable Mwene, I saw your hand first.
Chair, I want to appeal through you that we are looking at the 2022 CDF. I am reluctant to accept any reference to the 2023, what is happening, because we are looking at the 2022. So we are interrogating why you flouted the directives, which is a policy directive that you can only do this. You went against that policy directive. Why?
Okay.
Just on the same,
Honorable
Chair.
Chair, yes.
The local ones who applied and were left out, didn't they almost leech you people? Were they happy with you?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chair. Yes, in your consideration for local contractors, there is some lenience, as it is stated in the CDF document, that a local contractor can lack 1, 2, or 3 documents, but still be considered to be awarded a contract so that they keep on growing, because the money they will generate from that particular contract, they will then be able to pay maybe for the engineering and so on and so forth. Even when you saw that in lenience in the CDF directives, you still decided not to give them any contract. How will they grow? Where will they source the money from then to be able to have the other documents that they need to have for them to reach that higher level of contractors?
Honorable Smumba.
Chair, I wanted to have a clear picture or the clear statement, or to put it on record, that the CS, instead of stating to say the reason why they had to consider the companies that were outside Muchinga is because they never reached out to Muchinga contractors. Why I've said so, Chair, when you look at what they have submitted, they're saying the local contractors within the province lacked engineering Institute of Zambia certificate. Is it true that all the contractors in Muchinga, they didn't have these documents? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Council Secretary.
Honorable members, it's not true that they didn't have, and we apologize for that statement. What's supposed to be is that those that applied, it's not true that all the contractors, but going forward, yes, we are looking at the 2022 as Honorable Nyambosi has guided. We have learned lessons that the directive, and we are well aware of the directive. Going forward, we continue engaging these local contractors so that we build their capacity and ensure that all the contractors either come from Kanchibia, Muchinga, or just around according to the directive of the President.
Thank you. Another question? Yeah.
Question on page 10 was...
Page 10, and which other question?
Irregular use of empowerment grants. You got it?
Which point did we find out? Chair, I want to submit that after we gave out these grants, we started our monitoring around March, and as we are doing the monitoring, we started discovering these things, and we engaged these people on verbally. We could talk to them and encourage them to do the right thing verbally. But when we realized that there was nothing that was happening, that's when now we took a step to write to them and even report the matter to the police, because we saw that there was nothing coming forth. So the monitorings were done, and during those monitorings, we discovered that there were these mistakes, and we continued talking to them, engaging the groups in the hope that they would do the right thing. But then, when we saw that there was nothing coming forth, then we took the step now of writing to them and engaging the police. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Simba, your question?
Yeah, my question was on page 11.
Have you attempted to make the said cooperatives, because this is public funds, you wrote to them to do what? Have you attempted to recover the money so that they pay back this money, because these are public funds? You wrote to them. What did you write to them to do? That's my question.
Thank you, Honorable. In our report, we have indicated that we wrote to them to refund the monies, but even after writing to them, they have not been forthcoming. So that's why we decided now to report the matter to the police, so that the police can take up the matter. The writing to them was for them to refund the monies, because these are public funds, as Honorable has indicated.
So at what point did you write to them? Did you have some engagements before you did that?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we had some verbal engagement for them. We have been talking to them. We engaged them from around March, May. We only wrote to them in July when we saw that nothing was happening.
And during your engagement, what was the feedback during your engagement? Were these people promising, or they just kept quiet, or what? Because what you're saying is there was no action coming forth from your engagement. Now I'm talking about the times that you have been meeting them. What was the feedback? Were they showing signs of willing to pay the money back, or they just kept quiet and then forced you to go to the police?
Thank you, Chair. During our engagements, they would promise that they would sit down, they would convene amongst themselves, The truth on the ground is that each time you go to them, you find that a few members of the cooperatives are missing. Then they would promise that when everyone is around, they were going to sit and discuss the matter and give us feedback. But then that went on and on and on until we decided to report to the police.
Okay. So, Honorable Simumba's question? Your mic.
Sorry. About the receipts, we collected all the receipts from these people, but what we brought was just a sample. We thought we would sample because of the bulkiness of the receipt of the report. So we take your counsel. Next time we'll bring all the receipts, but we just did a sample. We thought a sample would suffice.
Honorable Nyambose?
Chair, quite interesting. The receipts should tally with the figures. You've just brought a sample of receipts which cannot even add up to the amounts that were. How do we get to convince this committee that indeed the evidence given, you have arrested this matter by providing evidence? This is not adequate. This is not a very bulk report. We are capable, we read, we can take everything. So, Chair, my question is, where are the receipts to indicate that these monies are according or they are reconciling with what is stated in the query?
Thank you,
you go through the chair, not until you are called upon. Okay. Do you know what a sample is? A sample can either entail a real thing or a fake thing. So when you tell your committee to say you brought a sample, what would you want your committee to take Kanchivia local council to be? So respond to what has been raised. But you shall never, ever bring samples. Are you able to bring the receipts?
Thank you, Chair. We are sorry for bringing just sampling the receipts instead of bringing everything. We sincerely apologize for that, but we are able to provide the receipts if required.
We need them. It's not if. Here we are not. We are not dealing with if. We need evidence. So we need those receipts. Even if it will take boxes and boxes, we've received boxes and boxes here. Are you coming to your committee for the very first time?
Yes, Chair.
Oh. Be informed that we do receive boxes of receipts. Honorable Simumba, Honorable Shakafuswa, Honorable Kamondo, in that order.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, also I'll take you to page 3. Dread the construction of a civic center. And also dread the construction of Kanchivia Community Radio Station. Chair, I don't know if we are dealing with the people who are coming from Kanchivia, because what I know, Kanchivia, in terms of development, they are leading. And for me, Chair, to see that there is even a civic center that has been delayed, a radio station that has been delayed, I'm getting worried. I want to find out, why have you delayed these projects? Because what I know, these projects are done. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. No. But that one is different, because I said Honorable Smumba, Honorable Shakafuso, and yourself. But you want to augment on. Okay.
It's the same thing.
So, okay. Okay. Honorable members, there is time for us. So, who?
No, he has respected common deaf. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, Acting Honorable Chairperson. I want just to augment what Honorable Smumba has talked about on the delayed 2 projects. My question is, I wanted to find out from the Council Secretary, these 2 contractors who have delayed. Okay, thank you. The 2 contractors who have delayed these 2 projects. Before we came to this, we were talking about not taking up the local contractors. And we opted, I want to think like that, we opted to take contractors who are not locals. And these contractors have continued delaying these contracts. Up to now, they are not completed. As a Council Secretary, what lesson have you learned from this? Don't you think that because of the decisions that you took yourselves, you have deprived of the people of Kanchibia in getting the radio station and also the Civic Center?
Thank you. Honorable Shakafuso.
Chair, I'm equally on the same. Mine, I would want the witness to answer, just for the record, whether Diamond Palace construction comes from outside the province or it's within. And I note the contract period. A contract signed December 2022, going up to March 12th. And they delay to do anything, just a slab. You then extend the contract from March to August. And after extension, the contractor delays to come on site. And you decide to call them for a meeting in August on the 28th. And now you are reporting to us that you are waiting to terminate the contract. Who should come and terminate the contract? Are you waiting for the ministry? Or it is yourselves who are supposed to terminate and engage other contractors so that the people of Kanchibia can benefit from this development? And even you as officers, when you operate from an environment which is not suitable, it's not motivating to yourselves. Why have you delayed to terminate this contract?
Chair on the same. We've followed your writing and their responses up to the end. And the CDF committee sitting, Honorable, and resolving that they will not terminate. They have reached that resolution. But what is taking me aback on these 2 contractors for the Civic Center and the Kanchibia Community Radio. Sir, the minutes which have been brought here on Appendix 9, 6, talking on the same. The chairperson, CDF chairperson, signed in January this year. The meeting was held, Chair, in October last year. The chairperson has signed in January. Said 2024. I want the CS to just bring us to speed.
Council, it should be a short one.
Yes, it's a short one, Chair.
Then we allow.
My friends have adequately dealt with the other questions, Chair. Mine is on the money pays for the construction of the radio station. Chair, on page 6, the council has indicated that the contractor had been paid amounts totaling 134,000 as at 31st December 2022. A physical inspection carried out in September 2023 revealed that the project had not been completed 7 months after the expected completion date, and the contract had not been extended. How much in total have you spent for the radio station up to this level? And have you terminated this contract as well? Thank you.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Honorable Kampamba Mlenga, Member of Parliament for the good people of Kalulushi. Chair, through you, I'm just a bit concerned with the Kanchivia Town Council. First and foremost, when we look at the people that are executing the contracts, the works in Kanchivia constituency, they are not even from the province itself, they're outside. So when you look at, I think, the aim of government, the CDF, the impact that it will have, the impact is not just supposed to be on the contractor, but there should be a ripple effect even to the members of that constituency, because if you have a contractor that is from Kanchivia or within the province, one, you will find that the ripple effect will trail to the locals because they'll be employed. So when you get a contractor from outside the border, it is the border members that will benefit. But then I further get worried, Chair, that on page 4, the 300 and something was just for the slab. Then we further extend the contract, and I can see, I don't know whether it's lintel or window level. My question then is, have you further paid them? From the time that the Civic Center, have you further paid this contractor additional amounts from the 300 and what? Or 300 and something to get to the lintel level? Or did you pay them further? That's why they moved to the site again. And also, Chair, when you are doing a awarding of these contracts, my worry now, this is an observation with also other councils. When a contractor, I think the people should be punished. This is hard-earned taxpayers' money, my money being used in Kanchivia. So my question then would be, the contractor, the reason why he left site and the reason why the works have delayed is because of impassable roads, etc., etc. This contractor, to come into Kanchivia, especially that he's coming out, he obviously surveyed the business. And obviously, so for me, I think this is not enough to why we should extend the contract to this contractor. Because he did the appraisal. Is this contract workable? Are the amounts, the execution? So if we're going to allow contractors, Chair, to come and say, because this is a rural constituency, I could not access the sand, I could not whatever. This is something that contractor knew. So these are lame excuses, and these people should be punished. For me, I think the contract from word go, when especially that they're not coming even from the province or coming outside the province, just at slab level, they should have been terminated. And obviously done a variation to see how much the slab was. The rest of the money, maybe they pay back. I don't know how you do it, but to further allow a wrong by extending, for me, I think is neither here or there. Because it's like we have been covering one wrong after the other. One, they're not from the constituency, neither they're from the province. They run away, they come back again, you give them money. And believe you me, even next year, this contract will be talking about it because they have no reason. Their relatives don't live there. They have no reason, they have no attachment to Kanchive. And I think that's why the guidelines are very clear, that it should support the local team so that we have this ripple effect of the distribution of wealth. Otherwise, you'll find it is Kalulushi that will just be benefiting because the contractor is from Kalulushi. So it's my boys in Kalulushi that are benefiting. Then after 5 years, my chair here will be questioned on how the CDF performed.
Thank you very much. Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with a question on the lessons learned on getting contractors from outside. I think we have learned, that's why there is a presidential guidance, and vice chairs correctly put it, that the effects, the ripple effects of these monies needs to be within the districts. And we have learned our lessons, and want to put it on record that one of these contractors is actually a local contractor, the one doing the radio station. The one who is coming from outside is the one doing the civic center. There was a question on that. Then also, we regret that we gave these contracts to people who are not from the province or from the constituency, because we have seen the negative effects of this. So, going forward, we have learnt our lessons, and we are not going to allow people from outside the province. We are going to strictly adhere to the presidential guidance so that we give the people that deserve these contracts, and that the money is going to remain within Kanchiwia so that it can have that ripple effect. On the minutes that were raised by the question from Honorable Mwene, the minutes, when we look at the date on the minutes is in October, but this were signed, it's an extract from the management minute. It was a big thing, so we just extracted, and then at the time of extracting, that's when we signed. Otherwise, the actual date is the one that is showing 25th October.
Just on that, do you mean the chairperson never signed when you sat? Because when you extract exactly the things which will happen on the material day. Yes or no?
It is an oversight, Chair.
Did the chairperson sign the minutes after the meeting?
Yes, Chair, the minutes were signed.
And when you extract the minutes for 25th October 2023, then the date will change.
No, Honorable.
Council Secretary. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you so much, Chair. I think I see there is also need, Chair, to still remind the CS about Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, so that he doesn't misguide himself and mislead the nation and the people watching live. But, Chair, I have a question. There is a trend, Chair, in these councils by our council employees coming up with their own construction companies, and those are the companies that are inefficient, and they are the companies that have extreme extensions, even when they are failing to perform, because it's a company for my officer. They keep on extending and extending and extending until it is infinity. Meanwhile, taxpayers' monies are finishing. Yes. Can you confirm that these companies that have failed to perform in Kanchiwia are not companies for any of the local government employees?
Chair, to the best of my knowledge, I want to confirm that these companies are not attached to any of the officers at my council. I want to confirm that.
Your mic.
Chair. On the radio station, so far we have spent from the 760, we have spent, I'm just doing my calculations here. We have spent 653. 653.
Yes.
The contract price, CS, is 760,000. And the status of the project is not even roofed. You have not even plastered, as we can see from the picture. And the people of Kanchibia themselves, when they hear you to have spent over 653,000, and you look at the milestones scored, what was the basis of you releasing payments to this level when the actual product is not even at, reconciling to the monies that you have spent on? Then there was another question, as whom are you waiting for to terminate the Civic Center? Chair, I just wanted to remind, you are waiting for whom to come and terminate after all that long period?
Yes, Honorable Simumba.
Chair, also I wanted to find out, because when you look at the sum of the contract sum of a civic center, it's about 1,426,970, and it hasn't even reached at a lintel level, almost to lintel. I wanted to find out how much have you spent on this project. I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. For the termination, our honest answer is that we paid this contractor a security bond. That money was for a security bond. And when he did those works, the security bond had expired. So we are trying to push the contractor to reach at a level where we can recover the money for the security bond. Then we'll go ahead and terminate. 356,000. Yes, that's what we have paid for the Civic Center. So we are waiting for him to reach a stage where we could recover our money, because the bond had expired and we are not going to claim from the insurance company. So we said, let's push him. When he reaches that level, then we do the termination. Sorry?
You should be taking note. Help the council secretary, please.
For the radio station, the amount you have paid up at this point that we are talking, the radio station has been plastered. It has been, even the ceiling board has been put. The only works that are remaining is the painting that is remaining for the radio station. That is, and ironmongering, that is the current work that is remaining.
So you have pictures for that, the painting, the painted structure?
No, Chair, we are saying the works that have remained is the painting. Otherwise, this building is plastered. On page 8. The building is on page 8. And the contractor is currently on site doing the ceiling and finishing up.
Okay. Honorable Simumba and then Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, thank you very much. There is also waste expenditure on page 9, where there is 800,000 that you invested in a field that we can't see the results. Lack of evidence of beans produced. Why did you take this step of empowering cooperatives that never produced anything, and yet you spent 800,000 as a media?
Thank you very much. Your reaction on that?
Thank you, Honorable, for that question. Why we took the step to empower these people, it was in liaison with the Ministry of Agriculture, after discovering that this sugar beans, according to the Ministry of Agriculture, it had a lot of market and it was highly productive. So we thought that we empower the locals so that we can have this seed can be disseminated within the district. Unfortunately, at the time of our first attempt, the rains were not so good and the yield didn't come out as we expected. And that's why a decision was made to replant whatever was harvested at first, and this was done, and the Ministry of Agriculture has given us a report on what was produced.
Thank you very much, Chair. The Council Secretary, knowing your capacity as a council, and you allowed groups of farmer groups to venture into this, how was the monitoring going to be, or you solely depended on the Minister of Agriculture? Because looking at 800,000, huge sums of money just going like that, did you do what you call evaluation to look at the sustainability of it and any insurance that you had put to that project to ensure that you recover such monies? Because you cannot explain monies going into this. Someone tells you, no, sugar beans is a viable thing, let's go put 800,000. This is huge sums of money. What due diligence did you do as a council faced with your technocrats before being lured into it by the Ministry of Agriculture?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. We want to acknowledge our weakness on this one in that we invested too much money at the beginning of a project. Even the groups that we engaged were too many. There were about 104 groups that we engaged at the onset. So we think that this was not so good on our part. Otherwise, we are dependent on the information from Ministry of Agriculture, being the technocrats in this field. So going forward, when we think of venturing in such projects to do with the community, I think we'll reduce on the numbers and do some kind of a demonstration before we go full scale, so that we see how viable a project is. Otherwise, this was a serious oversight. We went in too much before we could even see how things would come out.
Thank you.
Chair, I have a different question now. I've moved on. On page 13, I'll start with this one first.
As we wind up.
Page 13, Chair. Failure to spend. Kanchibia Council. I will read action taken. Management wishes to report that the 8,285,828 kwacha was unspent as at 31st December 2022 because of the following. Bullet number 1, approval for community projects was received on 7th July 2022. Procurement process and clearance by Attorney General was completed on the 6th of January 2023. Chair, this is strange. What could be the challenges that it took so many months, about how many months? From July to about 7 months or 6 months to be precise, to have just the approvals. Procurement committee to meet and have Attorney General approved. What are the challenges do you face as Kanchibia? The substantive question, or the main question, is failure to monitor projects. Chair, on page 14, I will go to the action taken report for the purpose, for the sake of time. Cause of the query: what development committee members did not prepare and submit monitoring reports? Chair, as the vice indicated, this is becoming a common response. World development committees failure to monitor projects. The first question on this one, Chair, is it only WDCs who are supposed to monitor projects? Second, how about the CDF committee and the technical staff? Because I believe at every district or constituency, there is a technical team that is working with the CDF committees in monitoring projects. And these are the people, Chairperson, who have been favored with a vehicle to monitor. Even before the vehicles were given to us, the council has a mandate. Why are you failing to monitor and produce reports as a council, such that Kanchibia has such problem? The last one is a simple one. On the bicycles that you have procured for monitoring, do you have invoices or receipts? Or these pictures, how do we prove that they're from Kanchibia? Do you have proof of receipts or invoices having paid for these bicycles, and how many were they? Because any picture I can get from anywhere, then you bring it as evidence. Thank you, Chair.
You want to wind up? Elliot.
Yes, Honorable. Mine actually is on the failure to use the loans, which could be, I think, maybe the last one on this submission. I would like to find out from CS, because you have written to us the action taken. The query was council failed to disburse loans as at 31st December 2022. And now I want a clarification. The action taken, the loans have been disbursed to all beneficiaries as approved. Management wishes to report that guidance on the engagement of the financial institutions for disbursement of loans was only received on the 1st of November 2022 under Circular MF-LOG/1/2/0. And the financial institutions took more than stipulated 21 days to do the assessment and the appraisal of the applications. Now my question is, I want to find out, when were the loans disbursed, so that at least we have a clear picture? And why did it take you so long? What was, apart from this, what could have been the failure? Even when you got actually these instructions actually to go ahead and do the disbursement, what could have been the failure on Kanchibia Council?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. This is the, I'm sure, the last one, failure to spend, on page 13. We are saying by 31st December, there was an amount unspent, 16,927,000, which we never spent. When you go to action taken, Chair, they are saying the management wishes to report that the balance unspent of 16,927,790 has since been spent in 2023. To which projects have you spent this money? Because we have just seen that the Civic Center hasn't been finished, the radio station hasn't been finished. So which other projects have you spent this money to, when the projects that the money was attached to hasn't finished? I sincerely need the answers, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with the questions from Honorable Nyambose. Why it took long for the approvals, why it took that period. The process of the approvals as a council, we did submit our request to the ministry, submission that was done in July. And then we ran the adverts between October and between August and October, and after we ran the adverts, we did award the contracts in December. So it was the process that took long to be completed. Otherwise, we are following on what the ministry, we are waiting for the ministry to approve these projects. Otherwise, we had done our part and then we took it to the ministry to approve. So as we were waiting, then these are the months that were going on and on until we reached this period.
So how is the approval process now? If the ministry took so long, about 7 months, to have your projects approved, how are you executing your projects now? Do you face serious problems? That's why you have so much money unspent. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable. The approval process now has been lessened as most of the bottlenecks, most of the things that were holding us back have been removed. Now the approvals, as we are aware, they are being done from the province, and the province is doing it within 2 weeks of taking the approvals. We are receiving feedback. So going forward, we know that we will do them faster because now it's being done at the province. Maybe that is the answer I can give.
Chair, just one more.
And the other question was
there are a lot of questions unanswered.
on the bicycles, whether there was proof. Yes, we have attached receipts for the procurement of bicycles. We have as well attached the invoice and the distribution list for the people that received the bicycles.
Wait, another question that was posed?
Then the other question was on the monitoring. As management, we restricted our answer, our response to the query because the query was on the monitoring by the WDCs. So that is the answer, that is the response we have given because the auditor raised the query why WDCs were not monitoring projects, and this is our response.
Mr. Kazinga?
Thank you, Chair. I thought I could just make a submission on the 2022 window of scaled up CDF approval system, which we had. Yes, it was not in end design that the approvals took long at the ministry. I think one thing that will be appreciated was the submissions that were coming from the various constituencies, in which case we had a few that could be referred back because it was not just automatic for the minister to sign off, because some of them lacked completeness, and in such instances they needed to be reverted back. But also it's good to submit here that the ministry took the bold decision where the minister decentralized or devolved himself in terms of localized approvals through the provincial local government officers, I think, which is working very well. Further is to submit that the issues that have been noted on the disbursement of loans in 2022, these have actually been addressed and equally receiving the final address right now in terms of the review of the service level agreements with the banks that are participating in the disbursement of loans. So we can assure the council through Kanchibia and other councils that I think they just need to do a lot of re-engineering within themselves in the institutions, because a lot of these guidances and a lot of revision in terms of what should be done, for instance, confirmation of funds, is no longer confirmed by the Secretary to the Treasury or Directors of Finance in provincial administration, by the Council Treasurers and the Directors of Finance of the respective local authorities. I thought I could submit that, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kachibia, what's the
Thank you so much, Chair. Just
quick one?
yes, a quick one and a wrap-up question to Kanchivia, CS and your staff. With the challenges that have been noticed of awarding of contracts to those individuals different from the province, delayed finishing of constructions, wasteful expenditures, irregular use of empowerment funds, and no monitoring of projects by our civil servants or our engineers in the council. According to you now, this has caused a greater inefficiency in implementation of CDF. So according to you, Kanchivia, whom do you think now is causing the inefficiency and ineffective implementation of CDF? Is it the politicians or you, our technocrats in the councils? And if it is you, our technocrats in the councils, what can be your recommendation for our technocrats to be efficient and effective in implementation of CDF projects?
Obviously, the council secretary has no authority to make a recommendation over himself and others. Nkachibia, thank you for coming through, for appearing before your committee on local government accounts. We appreciate your submission, but I want to put it on record that hearing from the social media, looking at the vigor that is coming from the member of parliament is the opposite of who you are. And that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, I should put it on record that you know, if you give a contract in January and you allow the contractor to take possession on 16th January, 3 months down the line, he is not doing anything, and then you bring an extension, you go up to the end of August, and then you say you want to take it to the CDF committee for approval. Me, I've not seen that. I think it's not like that. Because when you are signing a contract, it's between you and the contractor, and in that, there are conditions. If you breach, if the council breaches, the contractor will not go to CDF. Equally, if the contractor breaches, you're not supposed to go back to CDF. The conditions are there, you terminate. So why should you go back to CDF and all those things? You are buying time. And look at this. You are starving the people that are supposed to receive the services. I look at the two projects that you have presented, the radio station and the Civic Center. When I look at the reasons, the challenges are similar. You are saying the roads are impassable during rainy season. They are in the same site, the Civic Center and the radio station. And why did you choose a place where you can't even go? It's impassable. Was it the ideal place to put the two infrastructures? So that's what I'm saying. At times we look at your submissions and then we realize that it doesn't matter you went there yesterday. That one doesn't hold because you're a technocrat. And there should be practical steps that you are going to take to address these weaknesses. When you say WDC, they didn't submit a monitoring report, I'm put off completely. One, WDCs, they are not technocrats. They have no knowledge that you are using the right sand, you are using the right blocks, you are using the right materials. They can't advise. That's why in the CDF guidelines, they say the council is the implementer and the monitoring body. They are those that are listed to be monitoring the projects, and the WDC is not there. You can't sit in your office, you send the money in one word, 2 million, and you sit in the office and you expect the WDC to bring a report to say, no, now they have roofed, now they have done this. or to be signing the certificate of payments. Madam Treasurer, is that the procedure? Can you accept what WDC has brought to you, and then you can release the money? No, it should not work like that. Technocrats, that's why you are called technocrats. And in every district, my colleagues have put it, we have got the engineering department, Department of Engineering, Director of Works. Those are engineers, civil engineers. And those are mandated. They are the ones that make recommendations. They go and check all the slab has been done to the standard, okay, it's at roof level, or it's at lintel level, and they say this is very good, and they sign, you know, certificate of payment, not the WDCs. So we have seen a lot of weaknesses in your report, and I'm hoping very much that as you appear in a few months' time, we'll have a very good report, and the receipts that are missing, please send them. You can liaise with the Secretariat, so that at the end of the day, you're able to send them to him. So I'm saying your civic leaders, including the Member of Parliament, would want to see things done. But him is fast on the other lane, you are on the slow lane. So how do you get to the same place at the same time? Let's get on the same place and be able to run together, isn't it? Help him. He wants to see things happening. Help him. And who can help him is you technocrats. When I was hearing about Kachivia now has a radio station, I thought you are on waves. You see? But to find even the roof is being done, there is no ceiling. No. Let's help him to run, be at the same speed. Otherwise, we appreciate your coming, and at this point, allow me to withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you at the beginning of this interaction. And we wish you well as you travel back to Muchinga province. Thank you very much.
My full name's Tacharo Yotam, Member of Parliament for Chama North. Actually, this is my first term in office. I'm married to a beautiful lady, Beauty Kaluva, and we have got 4 children. I started my grade 1 actually in 1974 at Chama Primary School. From there, I went briefly to Chipata, Feni, where I did my grade 6. That was 1981. After that, I went to Sairi Primary School, that was in Chipata, in Chief